Good evening, you're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up, we find out about a home library service in Grimsby. And we hit the streets for another dialect word in What You Say. And my guest today is Nikki Hale, who is here to talk about a charity golf day being held this Friday in North East Lincolnshire. Welcome to Estuary TV News. I'm Emma Lingard. Now it's over to Richard Morris for the news headlines.
Police are looking for witnesses after the burglary of a 101-year-old woman at her home on Cooper Road in Grimsby. It happened at about 2:30 in the afternoon on Monday. The man entered the house uninvited after she opened the front door. She was not hurt but had her black leather handbag stolen. Motorists are being warned about the danger of Cleethorpes Light Railway. There have been reports of drivers ignoring the red flashing warning lights and proceeding to cross even when there is a train coming. The community policing team for Cleethorpes has said it is an accident waiting to happen if motorists continue to run the red lights. A home library service run by Links Inspire, the charity running local leisure and library facilities in North East Lincolnshire, is proving successful. The service now has many users who, with the help of volunteers, now receive books direct to their door. Service users who are often unable to get to the library themselves are receiving many books a week.
I started 5 years ago. I was retired and I was looking for something to do, and as it happened, that's what I chose.
It's a lot easier for me. I've got a visual impairment, so reading books is quite difficult, but also using the library can be quite timely. So it's nice for Barbara to come around. She's got to know me, so she knows kind of what books I kind of like, and it's also kind of the social kind of visit as well. So.
And you can find out more about this story in tonight's show. This Friday sees the return of popular concerts in Cleethorpes for the last 18 years. The Music While You Eat concerts have been going on over the summer months at Cleethorpes St Peter's Church, and this year features acts ranging from jazz musicians to local school children. Kay Desmond, the publicity officer, explained why people should come and experience the concerts.
Well, they obviously get a range of music. They get the pleasure of seeing perhaps a youngster, as Jill said, who started off their career from being at school here and have gained perhaps national, international reputation. And they get the opportunity to listen to a range of music and activities that are locally based.
That's all from me. Bye for now.
Thank you, Richard. Now, golf is a sport that many people participate in. In fact, they say more business is done on the golf course. And charity golf days are a popular way to raise funds for local charities. Joining me in the studio to tell us about one such charity day is Nikki Hale. Nikki, welcome back.
Hi, Emma.
Now, before we talk more about the event on Friday, just tell me, how long have you and your husband been running these charity golf days?
We've probably been doing them for about 10 years, Emma.
Right.
It feels like forever, but probably in all earnest, in about 10 years for the company we both work with. We started off just organising sort of just a general corporate day where we could invite clients and suppliers, but they've kind of evolved on from that now. And at BJB Lift Trucks, you know, we're very keen on sort of supporting the local community in any way we can. So for the last 3 years, it's been our third year, we've actually had a charity focus on the day.
Right.
So,
and I mean, at the end of the day, you said you started them originally because there was that corporate focus on them. I suppose golf is a popular sport, isn't it? I presume that's why golf was chosen.
Well, I think golf was chosen for BJB Lift Trucks because most of us play golf. The two directors, owners of the company, Phil Flowers and Pete Harvey, both play. My husband, who's the ops manager, he plays. I play, and you know, throughout our network of clients and suppliers, there's just so many people that played golf. So it was a good way of originally bringing customers together,
Right,
to
yes.
thank them for their business, or suppliers to thank them for supporting the company. But I think a lot of these golf days now have evolved on from that.
Yeah.
And it's good to feel that, you know, you're supporting the local community at the same time as hopefully reinforcing those good customer relations
Exactly.
that you've spent years building up. So
And organising one of these days, I imagine, is it a logistical nightmare? Because you've got to really plan, haven't you? The
Yeah.
teams and what time they're all teeing off. I mean, how manic is that?
Well, I have to say, David Hale, our ops manager, he's I think between us we make a good team, and we've got it down to a fine art now, and he is a very, very good and thorough planner. But we will have 34 teams the day on Friday, which is the most the course
Right.
can cope with realistically.
Yeah.
But yes, it's contacting them all, getting their entry forms, collecting the money, sorting tea times out, and then you get the people, oh, can I have an early one, can I have a late one, and then they ring you up, oh, you know, you give me an early one, well, I need a late one now. So it just carries on.
So it is. It's well,
A lot of
fantastic for
planning.
me, but a lot of planning in
A
there.
lot.
And at the end of the day, people are going to get some great opportunities out of this. And I know after we're going to go to a VT shortly, but after that we're going to talk more about the event and why you're doing it. So stay where you are, Nikki, because we're going to come back to you. Now it's time for another word in What You Say. Can you guess what it means this week?
That's the rear entrance to your house?
Going down the yard, going down your passageway sort of thing.
10 foot, that's at back of your house, where your garage is usually. Back at 10 foot, it's like an alleyway, well, kind of an alleyway. It's in between the garages usually. We used to play football.
Back alley.
Back lane, ginnel, maybe not so much a ginnel. A ginnel is more a path.
Are you going down the alley, the back alley?
That's a passage at the back of the houses that we call up north. Otherwise it's a ginnel or something like that.
Well, a 10 foot is around the back of your terrace house, isn't it? So you're walking down the 10 foot.
What it is, it's a passageway at the end where you can park your car.
10 foot is like an alley, an alleyway.
I know what I mean. Down a close.
Just alley, or well, snicket's another word. That's a West Yorkshire word, snicket.
You're going down an alley. You're going down a... And between houses.
Stick it?
Yeah, a passage, innit?
Well, yeah, but it's the alley. Where I come from, it's the alley.
Going down back of your house, have a game of football, something like that.
10 foot? Yeah, well, in Grimsby we used to have what we call 8 foots. Little passage between houses.
I could never understand 10 foot. It's about 4 foot wide. How do they call it a 10 foot?
I don't know, mate. You have to tell us. Go on.
You're watching Estuary TV News. Coming up later, we take a look at a home library service, and Dan Kemp will bring you the sports news. Now, still with me in the studio is Nikki Hale. Now, before Nikki, we were talking about why you set up charity golf days and the logisticals that you have to cope with there. Now, the event that we've got happening this Friday is obviously in aid of a worthy charity. Just tell us about the charity that you're going to be raising money for.
Yes, the charity is the Humberston Hydrotherapy Pool Appeal, and this is a charity that supports the hydrotherapy pool at Humberston Park School, and also the physio hub that complements the therapies available to the children. So that's what we're aiming to raise a lot of money for on Friday.
And why did you choose the hydrotherapy pool? I mean, is it close to your heart?
It's something that's particularly close to myself and my husband. I've been involved with it as a former parish councillor in Humberston, and we're both very good friends with the main organiser, charitable fundraiser Brian Marsh. Brian and his wife Betty do such a fantastic job raising funds for this facility. So we made a conscious decision to, one, try and help them raise some more money, and also to help them raise the profile of the charity throughout throughout the mechanisms we'd got through BJB lift trucks and through our clients and everything.
And that's the important thing for any charity, isn't it? Raising the profile of what they do, because that pool is very important. It plays an important role, doesn't it, in the community?
It does. The facility, it provides a marvellous facility for over 120 children that have both profound and multiple disabilities. And I was there a couple of weeks ago, and it was heartbreaking to see, the condition of some of the children there. So it's crucial, really, that they have this facility that not only in some cases just gives them some respite, but thankfully in some cases it's promoting a bit of extra mobility or sensory awareness. And that's largely thanks to the fantastic dedicated staff that they have there. So it's wonderful to see the enjoyment the children get from both the pool and the physio hub. And also we know from Brian Marsh that this has a knock-on effect, that when the children have had the use of the facility, they often have, a better night's sleep. So obviously that gives the carers and parents some respite as well.
Now, last year you raised over £7,000, didn't you? I mean, aiming to break that target this year, shaking the pockets of the many businesses coming along, are you?
Yeah, we'll generally be raping and pillaging anybody that walks through the door for the money. Yeah, we raised £7,015 last year on the day, which is an absolute phenomenal target. It completely took our breath away, exceeded our expectations. We are hoping to beat the total this year, Emma. It's a tough mountain to climb, but we've got all sorts of schemes in place, and we just couldn't do it without the support of the local business community, who are just so generous when it comes to anything like this.
And that's brilliant. And you said you're at your capacity, so you can take no more teams on Friday, can you?
Not this year, but book early to avoid disappointment next year, certainly.
Well, just to remind people then, that charity golf day for Humberston Hydrotherapy Pool then is on Friday, June the 5th, Waltham Windmill Golf Club. And so if people wanted to just come down and cheer people on, are they able to just...
Only if they're going to get the wallets out.
That's it. Get your wallets out and they can pop along. Well, thank you very much for that. And fingers crossed the weather holds out for you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Emma.
Thank you. Moving on then, a volunteer-run home library service in partnership with Links Inspire is really helping people in the local area. It enables library service users who otherwise can't reach the services to get the books they want to read direct to their door. Richard Morris read up on the story.
The Links Inspire home library service is staffed entirely by volunteers who dedicate their time to choosing and delivering books from a wish list provided by the users. Barbara Kelly is one such volunteer.
I started 5 years ago. I was retired and I was looking for something to do, and as it happened, that's what I chose. Well, over the years I've discovered how much I do get out of it, and I think most people would find the same thing. First thing is, you know that you're doing something for somebody who needs some help, and then you get into a sort of a extended group of people, people you visit, the readers, their families, people at the library, the person I work with. It's a really nice way of making new friends.
Naomi is a service user. She's really grateful for the books which she can now listen to on a weekly basis when they're brought to her home.
It's a lot easier for me. I've got a visual impairment, so reading books is quite difficult, but also using the library can be quite timely. So it's nice for Barbara to come round, and she's got to know me, so she knows kind of what books I kind of like, and it's also kind of the social kind of visit as well. So. So it's kind of like a personalised service. So obviously Barbara's got to know me, so she knows kind of particular titles that I might like or something like that. And obviously if they're in series as well, I can kind of listen my way through series. And it makes getting hold of kind of library materials so much easier.
Now joining me for a weekly look at what's happening in the world of local politics is none other than Dave Nunn. Dave, how are you?
I'm all right, Emma, how are you?
Good, I'm very well. What have you found for us this week?
Well, firstly, we're going to start off at national level in the House of Commons, and Melanie Ons made her first speech as new MP for Grimsby.
Brilliant. Now, what did Melanie have to say in her maiden speech?
Well, the two main things she went on about, one of them is obviously the renewable energy sector, because that's very big right now, and obviously they're talking about it at Hull City Council today as well, aren't they? About the Siemens development.
Yes, yeah, there have been, yeah. So what did Melanie have to say about the renewables, which is obviously a big thing for the Humber region and Grimsby. So what did she have to make comments on?
In order to take Grimsby forward and truly become a 21st century port town, political support for the renewables industry is essential. Because obviously there was an argument before the election about whoever won, there might be different varying levels of support for the industry. So she's saying we need to get behind it and create jobs and wealth in this area, really.
And I think that is happening, isn't it? You know, we've seen how Grimsby has embraced, you know, we've got Dong Energy, Centrica, Greenport in Hull obviously going ahead, the Able UK, and we're seeing all these wind farms appearing offshore as well. It's a positive step forward, isn't it? It is happening, isn't it, right now?
Oh, it's definitely happening, and I think it'll bring a lot of positive things to the area, because obviously Grimsby does have a bit of a reputation, but with all these new jobs coming in, all these outside people coming into the town saying, you know, it's a nice place, and all this money coming in, it's going to make the town look better, and you know, in the press, it's just going to make the town look better in general as well.
Okay, so she's made her maiden speech. When was that? Yesterday she did that. What day was that?
I believe it was Monday.
Monday. Okay.
And she also just went on about youth unemployment as well.
Okay.
She said 25% of our young people aren't in employment, education or training, and that needs to change. And of course she also made a nod as well to Austin Mitchell, her predecessor.
Right.
And she also mentioned that she wasn't going to change her last name to Haddock, which I believe was something Austin Mitchell
yes,
he
did in his time. He changed his name to that. So Melanie there in the news making her maiden speech. You've got something, haven't you? What about, is this the Humber Authority?
Well, we have got a bit about that, but obviously there's a lot of things about various local authorities combining together to create bigger authorities, and we know there's sort of discussions about the Humber region, but there's also the same thing happening in Lincolnshire as well.
Okay.
Because the new leader of East Lindsey District Council has not ruled out the possibility of a new unitary authority in Lincolnshire on their terms.
Okay, so just explain to us, what will that mean? Because at the moment they've got the district councils, haven't they? And they've got the county council. So what's the plan there? To all merge into one?
Essentially, yeah, it's to get all these different councils and combine them into one. I think the whole idea is obviously to streamline it all, because if it's all in one council building and organised by one authority, it definitely makes things a bit easier, and also it'll allow them to get more money as well, because there'll be a bigger council.
Okay. Now we saw that happen here, North East Lincolnshire, before we had Humberside Council, which everybody knows Humberside County Council was not a liked, I won't say authority, but the people in the region, especially on the South Bank and I think on the North Bank, didn't like the fact that the old ways had been taken away, did they? And Humberside was never liked. We've obviously got a unitary authority. Working, would you say?
Yeah, I think it works relatively.
Yeah? Do you think that is the way forward? That they streamline these services into just one unitary authority?
Obviously, there's advantages and disadvantages of each. Obviously, you know, as I said, it'd be streamlined, everything would be a bit more efficient and easy control. But obviously, with something like an area like Lincolnshire, it's obviously a huge area.
Yeah.
And if it's all centred in one place, it might be quite hard to sort of get to the further reaches that the smaller local authorities probably can get to, that the larger one might not be able to.
This, as I say, I think each has got the pros and cons, and that's something that I imagine will be debated big time. Moving on then, because we're nearly out of time, the Combined Humber Authority. This is Hull City Council and East Riding, isn't it, this one?
Yeah,
is that
so
right?
It's the report for the Hull Commission, which is obviously the commission to look into the idea of having a unitary authority.
Yeah.
And obviously there has been mixed things.
They had a referendum, didn't they, which voted against
96.5% voted against joining Hull.
Yeah.
Well, there has been some cooperation between the two, because that was one of the other things. We've got this the East Riding of Yorkshire supposedly negotiating with Hull City Council over the Headon Aerodrome land, because Hull City Council wants to develop on it. Okay. And we've seen the two council leaders wanting to work closer together.
So that's, fingers crossed, one to watch. Thank you ever so much, Dave. Going to have to stop you there, because here's the sport with Dan Kemp.
Hull FC coach Lee Radford has named an unchanged squad for the trip to Widnes on Thursday evening. The Black and Whites go into the game following on from their derby success at the Magic Weekend, where they beat their cross-city rivals 46-20. The game kicks off at 8 o'clock. The Hull Stingrays have announced the capture of Canadian forward Grant Toomlin. The 6'5", 26-year-old played for Heilbronner Falcon in Germany's DEL2 last season, posting 32 points in 55 games. He joins the Rays for the 2015-16 Elite League hockey campaign. North Ferriby United's unprecedented success last season has seen them retain their principal sponsor. Eon Visual Media have naming rights on the club stadium and are also present on the team shirts. Villagers owners Steve and Eman Forster placed the club up for sale following the side's FA Trophy success, and they're currently looking for a buyer. A date has been arranged for Scunthorpe United's Lincolnshire Cup quarter-final. The Iron will play Lincoln United away on Saturday the 25th of July with a 1 p.m. kick-off. The tie will follow the club's other arranged friendlies against Gainsborough Trinity and Bolton Wanderers. England's strong Yorkshire contingent couldn't help the side avoid defeat in the second test of the summer. The side went down to a 199-run defeat to New Zealand at Headingley, in which Yorkshire batsman Adam Lyth hit a century in just his second match for his country. Gary Ballance again struggled batting at 3 and has been omitted from the one-day squad for the upcoming series between the two sides. That's all for now. Don't forget to get in contact with any stories you have. You can call 01472 315553 or email sport@estuary.tv. And that's all for the sport.
That's it. Thank you to my guests Nikki Hale and Dave Nunn, who somebody has told me looked like a funeral director tonight. Poor Dave. If you have a news story, then visit our Facebook or Twitter pages or email news@estuary.tv or phone us on Grimsby 01472 315 553. Until tomorrow, goodbye.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.
Hello and welcome to Estuary TV's weather. Another fine, dry day expected, with some light winds and sunny spells. Friday, cloudy at times, possibly the odd spot of rain, and warmer than of late.
Estuary TV's weather, sponsored by Hornsby's, celebrating 100 years in buses.